The sun rose slowly, bathing the grove in soft golden light. Disciples gathered beneath the sprawling shade of the Bodhi tree. The air hummed with the whispers of leaves, a gentle accompaniment to the stillness of their breaths. Buddha sat in profound silence, his presence a beacon of tranquility and wisdom. One disciple, Ananda, hesitantly approached, his hands clasped and his gaze uncertain. "Blessed One," Ananda began, his voice trembling with doubt and concern, "I seek guidance on a matter troubling our Sangha deeply." Buddha tilted his head slightly, his serene eyes inviting Ananda to continue. "Many monks carry stones," said Ananda, his words weighed by sadness, "inscribed with symbols to connect with faraway companions." The Bodhi leaves rustled faintly, as though echoing Ananda's restless heart. "These stones distract them, Master," Ananda confessed, "binding their thoughts even when their bodies are here." Buddha gently raised his alms bowl, its smooth curve catching the sunlight. "Ananda, what is the purpose of this bowl?" he asked softly. "To receive alms, Master," replied Ananda, his confusion visible. Buddha nodded, his gaze shifting to the gathering of disciples. "If I were to carry this bowl ceaselessly," he mused, "allowing it to dictate my every moment, what would happen?" Silence enveloped the grove, disciples pondering the weight of this question. Buddha's voice carried, calm and deliberate, resonating with profound clarity. "A mind tethered by distraction," Buddha explained, "cannot seek the stillness where liberation resides." Ananda's brows furrowed, his thoughts grappling with Buddha's words. "These stones may appear harmless," Buddha continued, "but they weave invisible threads that entangle the wandering mind." A soft breeze stirred the grove, carrying the scent of earth and dew to the gathered monks. Buddha set his alms bowl gently aside, the gesture deliberate yet light. "Release the stones of distraction, dear ones," he said, "and let your focus bloom like the lotus untouched by mud." Disciples exchanged glances, the weight of Buddha's teaching settling in their hearts. "It is simplicity," Buddha concluded, his words flowing like the forest stream, "that nurtures clarity and opens the path forward." Ananda lowered his gaze, his heart stirred by the wisdom imparted. Buddha's eyes glimmered with quiet compassion, his presence embodying the stillness he spoke of. The grove remained hushed, the atmosphere charged with collective reflection. Birds chirped faintly, their song weaving harmony into the silent understanding shared. Some monks carefully placed their inscribed stones aside, their movements imbued with newfound realization. Buddha observed quietly, his figure one with the natural rhythm of the grove. Leaves whispered above, echoing the purity of the intention held in their collective hearts. The grove seemed alive with an unspoken truth, resonating deeply through the disciples' souls. Buddha's teachings on simplicity and clarity left their mark, an indelible impression on those present. Disciples sat quietly, their breaths deep and even, their minds reaching toward newfound freedom. The sun continued its ascent, casting warm light across the forest floor. Ananda returned to his place among the Sangha, his thoughts unfolding with the morning sky. Buddha remained seated, his essence a wellspring of peace and wisdom amid the natural expanse. Disciples listened, embraced by the unfolding silence and the transformative power of Buddha's words. The moment lingered, etched into their consciousness like the carvings upon their abandoned stones. Buddha's teachings on liberation echoed beyond the grove, carried by the winds to distant lands. The Sangha resolved to embrace simplicity and free themselves from the stones binding their minds. Buddha sat in silence, his gaze steady as the forest around him mirrored his eternal stillness. The sun's rays deepened, bathing the disciples in light, a reflection of the wisdom they carried forward. The grove seemed timeless, a sanctuary where truth had been shared and transformation begun. Another day, another evening, as the moonlight bathed the monastery in silver hues, The Sangha gathered in quiet anticipation. The forest resonated with soft murmurs as the disciples reflected on past teachings. Buddha sat in serene composure, his eyes steady as the surface of an undisturbed pond. A merchant approached, his robes fine but his expression restless. Kneeling humbly before the enlightened one, "Master," he began, his voice edged with tension, "I come burdened by a net of my own making." The air grew still, and the disciples listened intently, their focus sharpening with the merchant's poignant confession. "I find myself constantly drawn to the markets," he continued, "seeking news and tallying accounts. Unable to rest." Buddha's gaze softened, his hands resting lightly on his knees as though cradling the weight of compassion itself. "Merchant," Buddha said, his voice steady and calming, "what compels you to grasp at these fleeting streams of information?" The merchant faltered, his head bowed as he struggled to articulate the source of his entrapment. "I seek certainty, Master," he whispered, "yet the more I seek, the more my peace eludes me." Buddha raised a single thread from his robe, holding it lightly between his fingers. "Behold this thread," he said, his voice as gentle as the evening breeze. "Alone, it cannot bind," Buddha continued, his tone deliberate, but woven with countless others. "It creates a net that ensnares." The merchant's eyes fixed on the thread, its simplicity a stark contrast to the complex bindings of his own life. "So too," Buddha said, his voice resonating deeply, "do our attachments interlace, creating an invisible net that constrains the mind." The disciples sat silently, their breaths synchronized as they absorbed the profound clarity of Buddha's teaching. "What you seek, dear merchant," Buddha continued, "cannot be found in accumulation or endless streams of external validation." The wind stirred the forest, carrying Buddha's words like ripples through the still waters of their collective consciousness. "To untangle this net," Buddha said, "one must discern what is essential and let go of what clutters the heart." The merchant's brow furrowed as understanding began to dawn, his burdens slowly lifting with each of Buddha's words. Buddha's hands released the thread, letting it drift lightly to the ground, its fall a testament to freedom. "Cut the threads of attachment," Buddha said, "and find the stillness within, where true certainty resides." The merchant bowed deeply, his heart alight with a newfound resolve to embrace simplicity and clarity. The forest seemed to breathe with them, a living witness to the profound exchange of wisdom and awakening. Disciples exchanged glances, the lesson reverberating through their own minds and stirring reflections of their own bindings. Buddha's presence remained unshaken, a steady anchor amidst the swirling currents of human yearning and attachment. The merchant rose, his steps lighter, his spirit unburdened, as he departed with Buddha's teachings illuminating his path. The grove returned to stillness, a sanctuary of quiet transformation and shared understanding. The disciples lingered, their thoughts ripe with possibilities for their own paths toward liberation. Buddha closed his eyes, his stillness a mirror to the moonlit forest enveloping them all. The night deepened, yet within the Sangha, the light of understanding burned brighter than the stars above. The winds whispered through the grove, carrying Buddha's teachings beyond the monastery, reaching hearts far and wide. In that moment, the grove became timeless, a place where truth and simplicity were sown into the soil of existence. Buddha's lesson on entangling the net of illusions echoed, leaving an indelible mark upon the minds and hearts present. Another day, another gathering, as the Sangha assembled beneath the golden hues of an approaching dusk. The air carried a stillness, imbued with the quiet expectation of wisdom soon to unfold. Buddha sat with poise, his serenity an anchor in the ebbing flow of the day's rhythms. Soma, a young woman known for her craft, rose to address the master, her heart heavy with untold concerns. "Master," she began, her voice steady yet tinged with an unspoken ache, I seek your guidance on an emptiness I cannot name. Buddha's gaze softened, his presence radiating an unspoken compassion that seemed to envelop the grove. Speak, Soma, he said gently, his words carrying both an invitation and a promise of understanding. I have set aside distractions, Soma explained. Yet I feel a void within me, an absence that weighs heavily. The disciples listened intently, their breaths silent, their hearts tuned to the unfolding exchange. Buddha gestured toward an empty clay pot resting by his side, its hollow form catching the fading light. Soma, what purpose does this vessel serve? Buddha asked, his voice as calm as the waters of a still pond. To hold water, Master, she replied, her gaze fixed on the vessel, its emptiness echoing her own inner void. Buddha nodded, his eyes reflecting the depth of ancient truths. Its emptiness is not its flaw, Buddha said, but its greatest gift, for without emptiness, it cannot fulfill its purpose. The grove seemed to hold its breath, the wisdom of his words resonating deeply among the gathered disciples. So too, Soma, Buddha continued, is the space within you a preparation, not a deprivation. Soma's eyes shimmered with the first glimmers of understanding, her heart gently stirred by the unfolding revelation. To remove distraction, Buddha explained, is to clear the field, creating a fertile space for wisdom and compassion to root. The forest whispered softly, leaves rustling as though in agreement with the profound teaching being shared. Embrace this emptiness, Buddha said, for it is the vessel through which life's truest essence flows freely. Soma lowered her gaze, her mind tracing the contours of this newfound perspective, her spirit quietly awakening. Buddha lifted the clay pot, turning it in his hands, its simplicity amplifying the power of his words. A vessel full of clutter, Buddha continued, cannot receive, and a heart bound by noise cannot hear its own truths. The disciples reflected deeply, their own inner landscapes mirroring the clarity of the teaching before them. Soma knelt, her head bowed, her soul calmed by the assurance that emptiness was a gift, not a curse. The grove seemed to breathe with them, alive with the shared rhythm of wisdom and understanding. Buddha's hands gently set the pot aside, the gesture filled with intention yet free of attachment. Through emptiness, Buddha concluded, we find the space to grow, to transform, and to align with the boundless nature of truth. The horizon deepened with the hues of twilight, the sky a canvas reflecting the vastness within and without. Disciples sat in quiet communion, their hearts uniting in the stillness Buddha's words had cultivated. The moment lingered, timeless and profound, etched into the essence of the grove and the consciousness of all present. Buddha's teaching on emptiness transcended the immediate, echoing through time and space to touch lives far beyond the grove. Soma rose, her steps lighter, her heart unburdened, a vessel prepared to embrace life's true essence. Buddha's gaze followed her briefly, a silent affirmation of her readiness to walk the path forward. The Sangha dispersed, each soul carrying the imprint of the evening's profound teaching. The grove returned to stillness, a sanctuary where truths were unearthed and lives quietly transformed. Buddha remained seated, his presence a luminous center within the vast expanse of nature and existence. The stars emerged, their light a reflection of the wisdom now carried within the hearts of those gathered. The night deepened, yet within the Sangha, the light of understanding shone unwavering and eternal. Awareness alone weakens its power. He picked up a stone and cast it into a nearby stream, watching ripples expand outward, then fade away. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.